upon us and a couple minutes past. Glad you're all here tonight. I wanted to open with a sad note because of the cold weather. You may have heard that the meteorologist who has been into the wind chill factor died recently at age 92. He thought he was 71.
Oh.
So,
Okay, so that, yeah.
I love that. Thank you.
That's right. Oh, my God. The paper's not gonna record that.
That's one of the best ones I've heard. Okay, let's see, approval of the minutes. Let's see, everybody had a chance to look at those.
There is one correction to date.
Correction.
I put 2025 instead of 2026, so I did.
Oh, I
catch
think
that.
I can see. Okay,
Also in the approval, just had another G on my name.
oh,
Sorry.
yeah, geez. Okay. All right, does anybody have any questions? If not, the motion to approve the minutes.
I move we approve that.
Okay, second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. All right, the minutes are approved. And we don't have anybody here signed up as a guest, so skip that one. And then my report, which should last about 15 seconds. I don't have a whole lot to say. I did want to comment really on Dustin's behalf. Every time I've been up here the last couple times this week, the place has been packed as it is, which is really a good sign. It's just kind of heartwarming when you drive by the parking lot just full and people coming and going. It's kind of pretty good thing to do. So I just wanted to make that comment. And the other thing that on the next meeting, April 21st, I've got a conflict. We can't be here. So we have a couple of options. We can let Richard take over and do that meeting. Why?
Young people don't get that.
Need to shake a little bit.
Make sure you think the finger's going the right way.
Yeah.
We
I
can
grew up
do
in
that.
England, I know what the other side.
Either that or we can move it to another date, which that impacts a couple things by doing that. So maybe it's best just to keep it on the 21st. We'll just let it be done. Okay, so we'll stay on the 21st. All right. Well, that concludes my report. So then we will move on to, here's Sean. Thank you.
There was a car on top at the intersection by the courthouse. And so they had to route everybody all around different directions. So they had the Maryville Police and Fire Department and everything blocked off. So
Yeah, it was an adventure getting here, so.
We must just pass through.
We must have just missed it. Yeah. You just see what's in it.
Okay, Dustin, would you like to continue?
Yes, sir. So we had a very successful winter festival. It was the first one that we've ever tried. It had carnival games, it had popcorn, cotton candy. I wasn't here, unfortunately. I was out of the country, but I've been told that it went so well that we're going to consider having this to be an annual event. Some other popular adult programs came back as well, such as the audiobook walking club. It's a perfect program for introverts as it gets to people together meant to talk about the books, but also with a twist a little bit. You really go outside a little bit. The Seed Library reopened on February 19th. We had to pause it until we could get it fully staffed. Since we opened it on February 19th, immediately by the end of the month, we had 262 checkouts. So it's been very popular. And on that note as well, I'd like to add that this Saturday, if you guys are available, we have the seed swap from 9 a.m. to noon. So please help yourselves to that. Sales in the cafe this in February increased by 23%. We're eagerly waiting to see how March is done. So March 1st, we did implement the increases, and at least to right now, as of this moment, we have not had any comments or complaints. So people have noticed, but no concerns. When you have time, I would love for you guys to turn to page 10 on your booklets. Make sure you check out some of the PR stuff that we've been having. Somebody did mention specifically our cafe and how nice and wonderful it is. Another one specifically mentioned Miss Anna for our programs. It's been spring break this week, and let me tell you, he is absolutely right. It's been crazy busy in this place, and yet she is still there with a guitar and a smile. She did play at Dollywood on the side as well today, just so you know, but she did not get to meet Dolly. I already asked her. We've had some adjustments to our staffing, but things went very, very smoothly. All of the staff in new positions were internal staff looking to move up. We've been hiring lately to fill in those internal staff positions that were left behind and are almost completely staffed once more. So we're waiting on one person. We're having to repost one position, hopefully, we'll see. If you see them, please congratulate Zoe Ballou, Penny Stewart, Brandy Radenbach, and Beth Coppender for their new jobs. Holly as well, but that was a little bit ago, so hopefully you guys have already said something to her. Couple of big announcements. We were approached last month by the Daily Times, who is looking to find a home for their bound collection. And we were honored to hear that they thought of us. So myself and Sarah Corso went over to evaluate the collection, found that they were in amazing condition, and we're working together to collaborate how and when we're going to take possession of those. So at this point, it's kind of in a hold. We didn't want to take them until after the book sale for obvious reasons. But yeah, soon we will have the entire bound collection of the Daily Times from, I believe, 1970s to last month. So big collection. I wasn't sure how we were going to do the shelving for it, but I'm also happy to announce that at the same time, it just kind of seemed to be happenstance. I had a meeting with someone who came into my office and asked how she can help the library. And she wanted to donate to the Friends. But before she donated to the Friends, she wanted to know what kind of programs we were offering to the public. So I mentioned to her the History Fest, the idea with the time capsule, discussed some ideas about the bound collection or maybe some digitization projects. And she wrote a check to the Friends. I'm sorry to steal your thunder on this, man.
Go right ahead.
For,
You did the ask.
she wrote a check to the Friends for $25,000.
Wow.
So huge thank you to her. We've already written up the notes, and I'll be sending that out very shortly as a thank you. But she did mention that she didn't mind being kept, being noticed or noted out in public. She didn't want to remain anonymous, so I had to share the amazing news with you all. The library has been informed that we're being given a voting spot on the Blount 250 committee. I've been attending the committee when possible every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Its purpose will be to help all county initiatives taking part in the 257 celebrations kind of have a gathering point. So I'm going to be working with the chair as well as another person to kind of help aggregate all of the information of different places where they're having a celebration so that we can get it into one place and put it onto a calendar. So if you guys have any suggestions, I would love to hear them if you've heard of other organizations that are having a 250 celebration as well. Finally, I also wanted to let you know that after coordinating with City Manager Greg McLean, after discussing, we made an agreement at the Maryville City Council is going to be hosting their workshop here at the library this Friday. So the city council discussed this with Greg McLean in advance, and they decided they'd like to come here to host their city workshop, do a couple of things there, and then afterwards, we're going to give them some infographics, talk to them about what the library does for the city of Maryville, and then give all of them a tour. So they'll be here on Friday at 8 a.m. if you guys would like to join. It's a public meeting, so we're happy to have you. And one last thing, I apologize. The library will be transitioning in April to Microsoft products. You will not see much of a difference on your ends, but the biggest difference will be the change of our emails. So typically we have a .org at the end of it, and it's going to change to a .gov. So that'll be a big kind of learning curve for the staff. We're already making preparations for that by having trainings. I'm building an FAQ sheet right now for the public, or for the staff, I mean, to kind of help soften the blow. Just wanted to let you guys know this will probably also make your email change as well for the bcpl.org. So we'll make sure those adjustments are noted. Right, and with that, I'll turn it over to Anjanae.
As you can tell, we are pacing our selves quite well throughout the budget. No surprises. You will see a surprise next month, not a surprise. You'll see a jump in the charts because the funds that were kept in our capital line, they will be taken. And that is expected. It's not a bad thing, but one of our charts will look interesting. Let's see. Any questions on the information that has been provided? The main thing, and Dustin's already touched on that a bit, is that our cafeteria or the Bookmark Cafe is doing very well in terms of revenue. And I believe that we're actually, as of today, probably over our projected budget. So yeah, that's very exciting. And now I will give it back to Dustin to accurate, because he has an update regarding the proposed budget.
I do. Last month, whenever I let you guys know about my plans for what I'd like to do with the budget, I did mention to you after that we were going to approve it, that there might be a couple of adjustments here and there based on what the county decides. I was corrected on one thing that I had informed you guys of, that I was mistaken. In the capital line, I had planned on taking the budget's line items and offsetting the costs into the capital fund. So essentially reducing all of the increases that we were planning on into the capital line to offset. I was made aware that the capital line funds is being reserved for the county to cover expenses for maintenance, facilities, grounds, IT, etc. And so with that, we've been asked to put back in $263,000 and $332. I'm sorry, $263,332. So it will mean a slight increase to what I'm requesting with the county. It will mean an additional $19,306 for the budget, which is a modest 1 to 2% increase overall, not including salaries. So it shouldn't break the bank too much, but I did want to clarify, since I had told you guys before that it was an offset.
Those lines aren't fungible.
Correct.
And then Anjanae, the withdrawal of the capital funds, is that just based on under execution this current year, or is that a permanent transfer, and then we'll have to do the Mother May I in subsequent budget years?
I'm gonna hand that over to Dustin. He has had more conversations.
Yeah, I'm going to meet with Brian Baldwin tomorrow to kind of get a sense of, the amounts encompassed. But what's essentially happening is they're taking out the amounts in a lump sum. So sometime between now and next month is whenever finance said that they will take the $260-something thousand out. So that's why in the capital line, you've been seeing almost nothing. and to reconcile with the county. They're going to take it out in the next month or so.
Right, so is that just for this FY based on we have had no expenditures? Or is that the permanent decrease to the budget line for subsequent fiscal years?
It's essentially been taken out of Fund 101 from the county side, and we're having to now pay it back, essentially. That's what.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean, so we're no longer gonna have a capital budget line with it, within the library's budget, like next year's budget. That's what I'm asking, is it a permanent degradation to the budget line? And so now when we have a capital improvement project, we're gonna have to go directly into the county and say, hey, can you, because they're essentially managing it now anyway.
Yes.
Okay, so it is typically the process that when you have a capital request, that in the year that you plan to use that capital funds, that's when you request it. There's never a continuous like capital budget, if you will. These funds, they will always be originally appropriated to us.
Yeah.
And that is because, no, it's appropriated to us from the county because otherwise we wouldn't make MOE. So we will always be given that money, but it is considered quote unquote earmarked for the expenses of running
Right,
the building.
and they're gonna continue to do that,
Yes, sir.
it's just not gonna be in our budget line.
It will show up. You will see it every year, and it looks like it's gonna stay categorized as the
Statistics,
capital.
Restoration modernization, you have 3 to 4% of plant replacement value budgeted for capital maintenance projects. That's the typical industry standard for facilities sustained modernization.
So that might be a good equipment for you to try.
Currently, at the moment, we also have been in discussion to where as opposed to taking it out in April, I think it would make more sense in general that once we have some discussion as well, it would help if it was taken out more in the beginning as well. Since it's already earmarked funds to cover expenses,
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's.
it doesn't confuse anyone or new board members
Yes,
coming
gotcha.
in. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions on that? Foundation Board, Robert?
Good evening. We have two committees this year. One is a planning committee. And as its name implies, it focuses upon strategic, I can't even say it, strategic planning. And the long-term sustainability of the foundation. It's also working on supporting our relationships with the donors, keeping up to date on the donors and strengthening the relationship with them. And then we have a communications committee that's this task is to ensure that our messages that go out to the community are clear and accurate and align with our mission. And hopefully we'll be having a couple of newsletters come out this year. And also they work on increasing the awareness of what the foundation does. So those are the two committees that we have this year. We'll also be working on our mission statement. And maybe we'll attack a vision statement too, like you did. Yes.
And Alexa Johns is the new chairperson who took over for Travis Gardner. If you all haven't heard that, she's done a remarkable job so far keeping that forward. Okay, Vandy?
A couple of good things to share. When I first was on the board of the Friends, like 10 or 11 years ago, we would sort of whisper about our revenue because we weren't sure we wanted anybody to know how well we were really doing. And I think you all ought to know, because as we've gone through the strategic planning and the visioning process this year, that it's been very moving, and Ajane was there for the first part of the visioning process, that you gather all these ideas about what do we want to be like out in the future. And the two things that kept popping up is we don't ever want for Blount County Library to want for anything. And the second thing is, and we want to make sure that the community of Blount County is blessed with lots of opportunities for lifelong learning for all ages. So somehow or other in the next month or so, that's going to morph into a tidy little little line. But I was kind of inspired by people's enthusiasm about that. So toward that end, don't tell anybody, but I need to tell you about our recent book sale. Our revenue for the book sale last weekend was $19,700. We've been hitting around 20 for the last year. But one of the things I went in and did that was very exciting to me, we've tweaked several business things about how we run the sale and how we're doing eBay and such. And this year's December sale, you know, I hope you all know we do these quarterly. The December sale and the March sale were both over 25% increases over last year. And that has to do with some operational changes that we have. We have a thing called the operations team now that runs the thing like a retail business, and it's working. And we also have a paid communications person now that has spread our so we're getting other libraries contacting us and saying, we want to do what you do. So I think we can take this and I can take a show on the road. So anyway, I wanted you to know that because I want you to know that a lot of the programming that the library does, we already paid for, but we're in position well to continue to do that generously for the community. Yes.
I also want to share with you, and I hope that Zoe did, but Zoe shared with me, I think it was on Maribel Speaks Out Good News, or the one that's like positive only. Yes. What is it? They said when McKay's announced that it was closing, they said, "This breaks my heart, but thank goodness, because my second is the book sale from the Friends." So
Yeah,
that's huge.
it is huge.
That
I
is
mean,
huge.
that's the first thing I thought of when I heard, well, that's no problem for people around here. We got us. It does open up all kinds of possibilities that maybe we should have more frequent sales, you know, maybe we should, but I'm telling people to just calm down. The other thing I wanted to let you know is, yes, we did get the $25,000 gift, and I think you all know Ann. That what you may not know about Ann Nixon, because she's sat in for me here a couple of times, she has consented to be nominated as new board president, which means my term ends in June. She doesn't have a lot of people running against her. So I'm pretty certain that she will be here with you next year. So one of the things that I haven't even had a chance to talk to you about this yet, we have not tinkered with restricted funds in the past. Restricted funds, if you've done, they can be a nightmare. But one of the things that Mrs. Gross and Dustin apparently talked about was love for history and wanting to make sure that the library has funding to do history programming. So I'm hoping that the board can talk about it, and possibly we can experiment and restrict those $25,000. For example, the archival papers, that's history, so buying shells for that, pretty cool. But that's something I want to tinker with, because I think you can sometimes find, if you've done fundraising, people will be more generous with what they give if they know it's a thing that I'm funding here. And this is a good year to sort of take off with that. So that is the other thing. And I think that's all we got. Thank you.
Good deal. Thanks, Mandy. Okay, Liz?
Yes. Hello. We have, of course, as we always do, if you look on my report, we've had several training opportunities this month. We have more coming up. This has been a busy month. Spring has sprung with training. So we will have the Navy Center provide us a series on emerging leadership, voices of change, and charting the course. This is directly for training specifically for like assistant directors and emerging leaders in our libraries. We want to give them the appropriate CE that they would like as well. So it's a two-part series. The first will be on March 18th, next Wednesday, or no, this Wednesday, tomorrow. And then next Wednesday as well. Then we also have an upcoming really exciting, because policy is exciting, a really exciting workshop about library policy. Oh boy. I know policy can be very dry on occasion, but it's so important. And my colleague up from Johnson City is going to be coming and presenting that for us. So that is open for both library staff and also for you all as board members, if you would like to attend. It is being offered in person at our regional office, but also online. If that's easier for you to attend, you can register by clicking that register here button in the packet. Your board packet electronic should have that link in there. If you need that, feel free to reach out to me and I'll send it directly to you if you're interested in attending that. Just reminding our libraries about some upcoming deadlines. We have the TOP grant, which is training opportunities for the public, where libraries can offer can pay instructors for digital literacy and different computer classes, as well as some equipment for that. That's coming up at the end of this month. And then the spending for the LSTA Tech grant is coming up at the end of April. It's budget time, you all already know, so you've got that all covered, so I won't tell you about the data visualization stuff that we have. The Tennessee Library Association conference is coming up in April. It will be in Knoxville, so it's really close this year. And then just reminders about trustee certification program for our library board members. Board list reviews for upcoming vacancies. The end of June will be here before we know it. You all are always good about doing that. And you all are already doing your budget requests, so you don't need that reminder. And I just want to point out that Blount County circulated 22,475 items last month in digital cert. That's quite impressive. So that number continues to grow. And I do have, that's on your READS report, sorry. And I do have a certificate for Kathleen Christie, even though she's not here. I'll leave it with you all. So this is what you get for completing the trustee certification program, of course. So big kudos to her for getting that done.
Something. Can the READS information be broken down by zip code?
Possibly if you run a unique user report in Overdrive Marketplace.
I'll reach out to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. Sorry, wheels started turning. I was like, how would you do that? Yes, maybe. Yes, but you'll need your atrium information as well. So you probably could do that. Okay.
Good, thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
All right, so moving along to old business, we have a local history, genealogy, collection, development, reading materials policy. Not necessarily real order. And existing is ready to, is this ready to vote on? It should be pretty self-explanatory. If you want to offer a comment, if you want.
I do actually. I just wanted to say thank you very much both to Sean and Kathleen Christie. I had meetings with both of them where they kind of described some of their points on what they would like to keep into the document. The biggest portion that was kind of the sticking point was making sure there's still notoriety for the items in the collection. The biggest reason for that is to think of it as stewardship, essentially, of the collection. We wanted to make sure that we not just showcased what we offer to the public, but also when someone donates something very specific and very sensitive to us, we want to make sure that we take the most ownership that we can whenever we're utilizing that document. Did I capture that?
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely.
With seeing that, I made adjustments to the document according to what Sean and I had spoken about, as well as Kathleen and I. It is the second edition. It's the revised copy as well that you have in your collection. And if you all are interested, the library does also support the secondary document. Okay. And I apologize, it's not in the packet, the Sean and Kathleen version. However, it was sent to all of you electronically. And there is a document, a physical paper document for all of you to review if you'd like to as well.
Is this a word? The the exception on the same
I
thing.
was thinking, could we change that so it's more of everyday language so that?
I went to county school and I'm not sure.
Wait a minute.
Weeding. It's weeding,
We.
weeding. We'd find a different word for it because weeding is not clear for the general, reader of the document either.
Looks like a typo. I still how to pronounce that in English.
It's on page,
It's on page 4 of the policy.
yes.
Yeah, apologies, Greg. That is the reason that during the first training that you receive,
Yeah.
Liz does actually have a copy of different acronyms that librarians use in terms for that reason.
Right,
It
yes.
just
We'll
looked
need to
like
add
it's
that,
spelled.
we'll add things to that.
Well, no, that's just a list of all the acronyms.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
if we started adding actual library
Yeah,
terms.
yeah, that would be
You'd get a little
into
book.
itself.
All right.
Quick on. Okay, so we have this policy before us. We have a motion to approve this policy.
Motion to approve.
Second. Second. Any further discussion on this? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very well, we will approve this one.
I apologize. Which one did we just approve?
It's the policy, the junior, local history and
The
junior.
new revised version by Kathleen and Sean, or the original?
Oh, it was the new.
The new revised.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I would think that would.
The new, yeah, I thought that was understood, sorry.
My apologies.
Okay, the next item of interest is the internet safety policy, which is here for, this is for approval also.
I just took one that on the definitions, it says, and lack of value with taken as a whole, should have when taken as a whole. A minor
Fix it and so,
Okay.
yes.
Mhm.
Yes, I'll see, yeah.
Lack of value when taken as a whole.
When taken, yeah, okay.
That was it.
Page now.
Yes.
Okay. And we have a motion to approve this policy.
I move that we approve this policy.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
That one.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like so. The policy is approved. Move on to new business, which is the sex offender policy, which is actually for just kind of reading at this point.
I do have a few questions, Sean. The first one's probably your bailiwick there, is legalese stuff. So in our purpose, we stipulate that this is a sex offender policy.
Yes.
It stipulates sex offender registry by reason of an offense classified as against children is not allowed. So we specify it's against children, but then in the statute below it in subparagraph A, it says reasonably restrict the access of any person listed.
And that's when that may be where Tennessee's definition is fairly broad on that, in the sense that even if someone has a conviction for if they're placed on the sex offense registry and it involves an adult, then they're still prohibited from being in certain locations. So it's one that there's, even though it's differentiated in what we say, the statute itself is it covers everybody. So if there's a, for instance, a sexual battery where the people are, both over 18, the rules that are given to that offender are, their prohibitions from being in certain locations, and even from there may even be things like if a person is charged with aggravated stalking at some point, they may also fall under this, even though it may not have involved children. So, it's one that part, the vendors aren't supposed to know. And for the most part, here, they're, this is a place they're not gonna be coming to primarily, even the adult offenders. But it's one that unfortunately we can't really change what we've got, as far as the statute's concerned, and it may be one that we may decide just to put any sex offenders not allowed to be.
Yeah, because you can make a policy more restrictive than a
Right.
statute, but not less restrictive. That was my concern. Are we making the
No,
policy less restrictive?
We are not. We're,
Okay.
I mean, it's
That was my
following along with that.
Okay.
Is it also kind of all the budget to children present specifically for public
Correct.
libraries, which is, comes into that whole play of the chilling effect. Story times.
That was my only concern.
And it's one that even, not that, even if a person is, if their rights are restored to them, they're still prohibited. Like if we've got a voting precinct here, because they're still on, under the umbrella of that, they can't even come here to vote. Right. So even if it, so it's one that, this is not creating anything that is more restrictive than what the statute is.
Yeah.
So, very.
Any other comments on this one? We will,
Yeah, that was it. I did have some questions on the next one.
Okay.
the next policy?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll say we'll table this one up.
And if I can, before we leave this, one of the things that I can look at this before next month's meeting, because on the second page under subsection E talks about mailing a notice and then trespassing the person. It may be more of a situation where staff may be beholden to alert the person who's over the registry in the county, rather than mailing notice and things. But I'll take a look at that and see, because it's almost like a zero tolerance policy. If folks are, if they do things like register a new social media account without permission from the registry supervisor in their county. So this may be one where we may have some duty to contact them.
Okay.
And because that it's something that one, I think providing them notice or sending out notice, while that's good, may keep them coming back here during that time period beforehand. And those are, each visit it could be an additional sex offense registry charge that's placed on a person. So but like I said, I'll look into that and I'll report back before our meeting next month.
Yes, sir. And the only additional thing that was paramount that the library is asking for a change on is that the verbiage stated essentially that it was any person on the Tennessee sex registry. And we were hoping to amend that to count as any state registry.
And that's one that anytime that a person is here, they're supposed to check in. So even if the person is on the registry out of Arkansas or California or wherever, anytime that they enter into a community that's not their own, they're supposed to have contact with the registry officials in that particular county.
Okay.
So, or that particular state. So that may be one that I'll look into that and kind of kind of do some homework and find out where we stand there.
Thank you, Sean.
Welcome.
Any further comments on that? Have this ready for next time. Then the next policy is the public meeting rooms policy, which is again for review only.
So again, these are just housekeeping things and just recommendations. We have, so for example, the fees. The fees are mentioned in various sub-paragraphs, and I don't just, there's mentioned in the scheduling of fees, then in the admission of fees and fees for the use of public meeting rooms are yet in another paragraph. I don't know if that would be good to have consolidate all that into the one paragraph that says fees, so you can look at all the criteria and rationale for fees under one paragraph rather than having it spread throughout.
Okay.
Just a recommendation. And then the other part and parcel with that is on the cleanup. We have a cleanup paragraph, but then it's also mentioned, no, I can't read my notes, I'm sorry. Great. It's mentioned in another paragraph, so, under common spaces and food service, it talks about cleanup as well. Not a big deal, just ease of reading and especially turning to the fees, because it's, you're hiding it, let's talk about fees, you're like, oh, what fee? And you find another thing, talk about fees, and you're like, what fee? You finally get to the fees paragraph, and then it doesn't mention the previous stuff about fees. Just a recommendation.
Okay. Comments? We'll get that retyped up and get that for next meeting. And let's see, finally for new business, we have some time of year again for nominations. For nominating the committee, this is specifically for elect officers for the next time. And I sort of took it upon myself, put people on the spot, maybe come up with a nominating committee consisting of myself and Becca and maybe Richard and Dexter. You all would like to just meet sometime, probably meet before, like an hour before our next meeting, which in my case will have to be May. Then we can go over who we want to target at that point. So we'll do that. So that'll be the May meeting, we'll take this. And we'll do 4:30, I guess.
We're going to schedule it now, 4:30.
Yeah, let's do that at 4:30. So, because it'll have to be a public, it has to be a public meeting. Can you make your work with them? Third Tuesday.
19th.
Yeah, May
19th.
Third Tuesday.
Yeah.
May 19th. At 4:30. May 19th at 4:30. All right. Thanks.
Yes, yes.
That'll just be for the people that well, it's for. All right. It's just, yeah.
I wanted myself to take.
And yourself.
notes. Yeah.
Yourself. Okay. And let's see, other important dates. Let's see, the county commission next week. No, sorry, it's April 16th. Friends of the Library, the 24th of March. We have a foundation meeting this coming Friday.
Yes.
And we will be gone, you'll be with the city level, the Anjanae's handling that.
Anjane will be joining me as well with the city of Maryville, and Summer will be joining the meeting in our stead as our private.
Also, okay, so.
Yes.
Let's see, foundation, the Maryville Council meeting, that's the same. County Commissioner Alcoa, Dexter. So our next meeting, trustee meeting will be 21st of April. And since I will be out, Richard will take charge. Get back, take things.
You get in trouble like, oh, Dad.
Okay, does anyone else have anything? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Second. Okay. Second. All those in favor stand up.
So, thank you so much.